Mr. Aditya is is an augmented and virtual reality expert and a faculty at PES University, Bangalore. And he focuses on digital twins, metaverse, and AR/VR applications for medical training. He has a PhD in computer graphics and virtual reality from South Korea and brings rich experience from roles at Schneider Electric and Jyoti Institute of Technology. And he has filed 4 patents published extensively in top venues and mentors PhD and undergrad students. So I would like to invite Mr. Aditya Balasubramaniam for his talk.
So, good afternoon, all of you. And firstly, I would like to thank DOT for accommodating me. It was a very short discussion 3 days ago in IIIT Bangalore, and they were able to accommodate me. So, 2 objectives. The first thing is definitely collaboration. We are open to collaborating with people who are like-minded. And the second thing is to sensitize people about the possibilities of digital twins, especially in teaching and learning experiences. So I'm sure this slide is for completion. Call it a occupational hazard. I'm a teacher, so there must be a slide on what is digital twin. But 2 things are very important in this slide. One is the structure and one more is the behavior, and mirroring the physical entity for its structure and behavior is called as a digital twin. But you see, there is a intrinsic, there is an intrinsic 3D or virtual reality and augmented reality within the digital twin. So before me, speakers spoke about a lot of use cases. So I will also be speaking about a few use cases. I've put together a list of use cases for you, which we have implemented in the CAVE labs. So people spoke about critical infrastructure, urban planning, manufacturing, and so on. But post-pandemic, we have seen a surge in the publications in one sector, which is the healthcare sector. Digital twin in healthcare was never seen before the pandemic, but now people are looking at it, and people are trying to invest more money and effort and time to better healthcare infrastructure, just in case the pandemic hits again, and we should be prepared. So my job here is to, 1 application each in aerospace and manufacturing. These are all applications. Some of these applications we are building in collaboration with the industry. Many of it we are working as student projects, and without funding, some students, and we are working in a corner and simply. So none of these applications are a viable solution, but we'll be more than happy to collaborate with industry who are willing to take it forward and make it a viable solution. So I also have some more food for thought, of course, police training, soldier training, and infrastructure planning. So the first use case is the gut twin. So there are about 500 microorganisms, bacteria in your gut, living within your gut. They are feeding on what you feed. So modeling all of these 500 million bacteria species is very difficult. So therefore, what we did was we have we have a shortlisted set of species: Bacteroidetes, Firmicutes, Actinobacteria, Proteobacteria, Vericomicrobia. These compose 99% of the phylum, the microbiome composition in your gut. So there are good bacteria, there are bad bacteria. If you have a good bacteria in your gut, your health is good. If you have a bad bacteria, your health is bad. So imagine for a situation where you go to a doctor and you have a stomach issue, and the doctor looks at your digital version of your gut and sees the composition of the bacteria, a certain composition of the bacteria in your gut. Now, she knows exactly what kind of medicine she has to administer, and now she tests this on the virtual gut, sees how the composition will change, fast forwarded to a few days, and sees how the composition will change. That is exactly what we have been trying to do. An AI model will ingest the digital twin of the actual gut. So the actual gut microbiota composition, we get it through stool tests and everything. So we have an entire hospital at our disposal for us to give this data. And we also have a pharmaceutical department which can help us in the domain expertise in gut digital twin, the drug digital twin. So a model will ingest both of these, fast forward it to it, to the next time, and predict what would be the microbiota composition in your gut. This is one of the use cases that we are doing. Especially, this will help in precision medicine, predictive healthcare, and a personalized medicine. So everybody's composition of a gut can change. And it also depends on the genetics. It depends on the activities of daily living. You are walking, jogging. Somebody is simply sitting and working. The dietary restrictions and the diet of an individual person. The second use case is the heart twin, which is, I'm sure all of you in the audience and many of you in the audience are already using smartwatches. You're tracking yourself. You're tracking your movements, walking, jogging, running, swimming, washing your hand, how much water did you drink. So if you're already doing it, then you're contributing to a pool of data set which can be used to create a personalized digital twin of yourself. These watches, these modern watches are pretty accurate in also giving out ECG data. In fact, in the US, this is accepted as one of the reports. The ECG that comes from the Apple Watch is accepted as a report for diagnostics in the hospitals in the US. So we are collecting ECG data from the watch, a single lead ECG. Normally it will be 12 lead ECG, but we just use the single lead ECG, run a deep learning model to detect something called as arterial fibrillation. So typically an ECG is a one-dimensional graph with voltage in the thoracic region. So if there is a certain pattern to it, there is a P wave, Q RS complex, T wave, and such things. If there is a certain pattern to it, then we know that it is normal. If there is slight deviation from this pattern, for instance, there is no P wave, or the P wave is supposed to be at a certain height, but the amplitude is distorted. If something like this happens, then there is an abnormal condition. The abnormal condition can lead to heart attack, stroke, and such things. So arterial fibrillation is one such abnormal condition which we are detecting, which will lead to stroke. What is the advantage? As soon as there is an arterial fibrillation, something will not happen. It will take some time for the stroke for the arterial fibrillation to manifest into a stroke. So early detection, early cure is what drives this. So therefore, the smartwatches can immediately detect this at the edge, and the AF burden can be calculated, and we can say go to the doctor and get a treatment. So this is a heart digital twin. So what we have modeled here is a realistic visualization of an individual heart with all the muscles of the heart being controlled through a virtual reality. And this beats exactly like the way an ECG is going through in the timeline, in the one-dimensional graph. The next use case is a virtual patient. Typically, a final year medical student will get into a hospital as a resident doctor. They are supposed to meet patients calmly, trying to listen to them, trying to understand what is their symptoms, later provide medication, maybe ask them to come back after 4 days, 5 days, longitudinal diagnosis. So this is what we try to do. We try to build a virtual reality application, create a digital twin of a clinical setup where a patient is powered by an AI, and now they can come and they can actually speak to the doctor. The doctor will be wearing a headset, and let me play a video of this. Sound is. Sound is off. selecting. Okay. Yeah. So I'll let you watch this video and I'll maybe skip through the other parts.
Hi, what brings you here today?
So this is a actual voice of a person
I
while
have
the
come to the hospital as I have been experiencing symptoms
avatar
of food
is powered by
poisoning, and
a
I am
hugging
seeking
face llama model,
diagnosis for my condition.
fine-tuned for this specific purpose.
What are your symptoms?
And the patient
Having
answers
severe
as
abdominal
ambiguously
pain,
as possible.
nausea, vomiting, and
So if you
diarrhea.
ask, so right now, I mean,
How long have you experienced these symptoms for?
For the past 2 days, I have been experiencing these symptoms.
that background siren is from our campus siren, so ignore that. So I'll fast forward it a bit to,
Please go ahead and review my scans.
so while doctor can also review the scans, we are generating blood reports using GenAI, we are using progressive GANs to generate X-rays for emphysema, cardiomegaly, tuberculosis, pneumonia, and normal X-rays. We have also have run our generated data with a radiologist to validate its particular data, and it's a pretty decent replica of a clinical setup. On the other hand, we have a complete digital model of multi-layer digital model where we have skin layer, muscular layer, skeleton layer,
Hi, what
you
brings
know,
you
the
here
new
today?
nervous system, the blood circulatory systems, and everything. Now, a student who is in anatomy class can actually go and, you know, kind of dissect things. Stop this. Can actually go and dissect, bring out all the parts out and see it, you know, label it and so on. The beauty of this is you press a reset button and the bones can go and sit in its rightful place, which you cannot do on a you know, a dead body, which is a traditional way of learning. So all of these things became very prominent post-pandemic. We have deployed these in our nursing schools and people are using it. The third use case is, maybe the fourth use case is the biomechanical twin of a human body. So human body has got 244 kinematic degrees of freedom. Modeling all the 244 kinematic degrees of freedom is a difficult task. More sensors are required, but definitely possible. But what we have done is we have modeled 12 degrees freedom, upper arm, lower arm, upper leg, lower leg, hip, two parts of the sternum and the neck and the head. So that is what we have modeled. This is me performing Surya Namaskara, while there is a very basic stick model with a lot of drift, you know, replicating this, reconstructing the human body movements. What is the advantage? Remote rehabilitation. 20% of the people in India who are having locomotor disability due to injury are from the rural sectors. They don't even know that they have to go and get physiotherapy. Now, because of that, they will not be able to get back to their activity of daily living, and that will become a bigger problems for the society. So therefore, remote rehabilitation in healthcare is important. Sports training, I know of companies who are providing solutions for Mumbai Indians and RCB for you know, perfecting their cricketing shots. So sports training, gait analysis for authentication are some of the use cases or applications where biomechanical twin can help. In another application, we have created a digital twin for training nursing staff. This is a project in progress. Most of what videos that you are seeing is a first-person view of a person wearing the headset. So here there is an immersive learning environment. All the equipments in a typical ward, hospital ward, is replicated. We are also trying to integrate this dumb model as of now into a much more interactive model. This model can cough, it can react to pain, it can react, let us say you do an IV insertion, then the model should be able to react to pain. Such things we are trying to build on top of these models. This is one more use case for you know, teaching and learning experience, especially in the healthcare sector. This is a very interesting use case. We have deployed it in a special school. Somebody, one of the speakers was talking about how digital twin can be leveraged to for people with special needs. So we have deployed this in an Ishania Foundation in JP Nagara in Bangalore, where there are autism spectrum disorder kids. These kids have got problems neurological problems, they find it really difficult to comprehend. You know, simple tasks like identifying a boy and girl, or you know, crossing a road, or picking up an apple from a mall becomes very difficult for them. So what we have done is we have created 3 scenarios: a nearby mall in JP Nagara adjacent to Ishanya Foundation. We have created a digital twin of that, and a road crossing scenario, and a garbage segregation scenario. So we tested it on 40 students, divided into 2 groups. One group went through a virtual reality training. Another group went through a traditional way of training, which is cards. You know, they show cards and they show this is how you're supposed to do 100 times. And hopefully the 101st time they do better. And we saw increased engagement, and we also saw that they were able to perform better when they were put in real world scenarios. So when we took them to a real mall, which was a replica of this, of course, here when they were trying to pick up the apple, they used to use a pinch, you know, gesture. But when they went to the real store, they were trying to pinch the apple. So that was one thing that was learning for us. So make it more haptic, make it more immersive, so that they will be able to replicate the same actions that they do in the virtual reality in the real world. So this is another use case. I'm sure all of you are aware of this. So the drone, Namo Drone Didi project, and 2 crore women from the rural sectors will be flying drones shortly, spraying pesticide, fungicides on the agricultural land, and also probably picking up medicine from cities to remote areas. So for them to train, these agricultural drones typically weigh anywhere between 20 kgs to 40 kgs. If you add more sensors and everything, it can go up to 50 kgs. And you can see the way they are controlling. They are using a radio controller. And these are very, very sensitive equipments. A small mistake can topple the drone, much less important than the lives that are at stake around. So what we did was we have created a mixed reality drone training simulator. It's okay. So a mixed reality drone training simulator. You can see that it's a virtual drone. It's not a replica of a agricultural drone. That is something that we are working on. But the user will be using a RC controller, and he'll be flying the virtual drone. This virtual drone is having pretty decent physics modeled on top of the drone. We are using Oculus Quest Pro's pass-through for mixed reality setup. He'll be able to see the radio controller. And he's supposed to take a certain, we have gamified this entire experience. He's supposed to go to level 1, level 2, level 3. By the time he reaches level 4, you can see the real radio controller is visible, while the other parts are virtual reality. This is a mixed reality setup that we have done. And we are working very closely with NeoSky. We are working to try to deploy it in various DGCA approved drone training institutions. So the next use case is an Industry 4.0 training twin. What you see here is a pick and place robot. It's a tabletop robot which can pick about 300 grams of item. And it is powered by Raspberry Pi. I'm sure among the students you would have already used these things. So it's a 6 degree of freedom robot where there are motors, servo motors at every joint. And these servo motors have got orientation sensors. I'll take 2 minutes. And orientation sensors, temperature sensors, and later these can be captured. So these will be performing pick and place applications for weeks together. The temperature in the joint can go up. So what do? We have created a pretty decent, accurate digital twin of this robot, and we can predictively predict. So this is a complete executable digital twin that we have, and we can maintain this particular drone. It's a demonstration for Industry 4.0 training twin. Last use case is the learn driving using driving twin. We are doing this in collaboration with Infinity Engineering Solutions. So what we have done is we have created a digital twin track of Gnana Bharati RTO in Bengaluru, and we have created a realistic 3D model of Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, and you can see the PES logo there. And NWH physics is applied on this particular car. The idea is for the people to drive through this particular track, and now the RTO can see how well they are driving. I should have put another image of a person driving it. So there is a physical model. You must have seen this in malls, a gaming model, a physical model. There is a steering, a clutch, a brake, and everything. So that will be integrated with this twin. And going forward, we are trying to deploy it. We are trying to create a cityscape with pedestrian modeling. I'm sure IIIT Hyderabad is also working on driving simulators. I've seen it earlier, and pedestrian modeling, driving behavior simulations, and all of those things. So this is another use case that we are using, that we are planning to build. Lastly, two more use cases. One is infrastructure planning. There is already enough amount of data. This is a future work we are planning to work on. So there is ample amount of traffic data that is already available on Google. There must be some way to quantify this data, try to do infrastructure planning. Many speakers spoke about it earlier to me. And this is one last soldier and police training. And so what we are trying to do is we are again working with Infinity Solutions to build soldier and police training. You can see that it is very dumb training device. So there is a track and there is a target, and this target will keep on moving in this particular track. But what if we could make it more intelligent? So Infinity Solutions are working on the hardware side of creating a pretty decent physical twins of real guns and synthetic bullets, while we have taken up the job of the software side of it. So there are other applications like remote weapon systems, IR simulations, and so on. So this is my last slide, and there are a lot of possibilities. So training and evaluation of people who are trained can be a very nice set of use cases for digital twin for those of you who want to submit this as an EOI in the Sangam Digital Twin Initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Aditya. You are doing fantastic work, and you've given so many use cases of digital twins which you are working on. And apart from infrastructure planning and design health is also an important factor which we will cater in Sangam maybe little later. But yes, infrastructure planning and designing is for that we can collaborate and work and you can submit the expression of interest. Thank you so much. Now moving